Joe Biden, the 46th President of the United States. A man who has spent decades in public service, from his early days in the Senate to his tenure as Vice President under Barack Obama, and now as the leader of the free world. He's a man who needs no introduction. His face and voice are instantly recognizable, and his presence commands attention wherever he goes. But lately, he's been getting a very different kind of attention. Not for his political achievements or his policy decisions, but for something far more peculiar. Forget about his policies or his speeches. The focus has shifted to something entirely unexpected. People are talking about robots? Yes, robots. The idea that Joe Biden might not be human at all, but rather a sophisticated machine. Videos of Biden acting a little, shall we say, off have been making the rounds online. These clips have sparked a frenzy of speculation and debate. These clips show him doing things like shaking hands with thin air and freezing mid-stride. Strange, right? It's almost as if he's malfunctioning. For some, it's more than just strange. It's downright unsettling. They see these moments as clear signs of something amiss. It's evidence of something far weirder. A theory that goes beyond the realm of typical political discourse. These aren't gaffes, they claim. These are not mere slips of the tongue or moments of forgetfulness. These are glitches in the system, malfunctions that suggest a deeper, more sinister truth. Glitches that reveal Biden isn't Biden at all, but a robot controlled by shadowy figures. A puppet in the hands of unseen manipulators. Sounds like a Black Mirror episode, right? A dystopian scenario straight out of science fiction, but for a growing number of people, it's no laughing matter. They believe this theory wholeheartedly and are vocal about their concerns. The internet, as we know, loves a good conspiracy theory, and this one has all the elements to go viral. And this one, my friends, is a doozy. It's a theory that has captured the imagination of many and shows no signs of fading away. So buckle up, because we're diving headfirst into the bizarre world of Biden the bot. Prepare yourself for a journey into the strange and unexpected, where reality and fiction blur. Let's break down these so-called glitches and see what all the fuss is about. One video shows Biden finishing a speech, then turning to shake hands with nobody there. It's a moment that has been replayed countless times, often with added commentary and speculation. He seems confused, like he's expecting someone to materialize out of thin air. The look on his face is one of genuine bewilderment, as if he's momentarily forgotten where he is or what he's supposed to do next. Another clip shows him walking across the White House lawn, only to stop dead in his tracks. It's as if he's suddenly remembered something important, or perhaps he's just taking a moment to gather his thoughts, like someone hit the pause button on a remote control. The abruptness of his stop is almost comical, and it has led to a flurry of memes and jokes online. Then, there are the moments where he seems to lose his train of thought, staring blankly into the distance. These instances are often highlighted as evidence of his supposed cognitive decline. For conspiracy theorists, these aren't senior moments, they're system errors. They believe these glitches are proof that Biden is not entirely human, but rather some kind of advanced robot or puppet. Moments where the human facade slips and the robot underneath is briefly revealed. It's a narrative that has gained traction in certain corners of the internet, fueled by a mix of skepticism and imagination. Of course, there are perfectly normal explanations for these incidents. Aging can bring about moments of forgetfulness or confusion, and public figures are under constant scrutiny. Biden is, shall we say, a man of a certain age. He's been in the public eye for decades, and it's natural for him to have moments where he's not at his sharpest. He's bound to have the occasional stumble or memory lapse. These are normal human experiences, especially for someone in their late 70s. But for those who want to believe these explanations just aren't good enough, they prefer the more sensational story, the one that suggests there's something more sinister or extraordinary at play. So, if Biden is a robot, who's controlling him? The theories range from the plausible to the downright bonkers. Some whisper it's the deep state, that nebulous entity always lurking in the shadows of conspiracy theories. Others point fingers at specific political figures, accusing them of using Biden as a puppet to push their own agendas. Then there are the truly outlandish ideas. Alien overlords, time travelers, you name it. The motivations behind these supposed puppet masters vary as well. Some want power, others wealth, and some, well, they just want to see the world burn. Whatever the reason, one thing's for sure. In the world of conspiracy theories, nothing is as it seems. Conspiracy theorists love to play a game called Cui Bono, Latin for who benefits. They look at Biden's policies and decisions, searching for clues about who might be pulling the strings. Did a certain industry benefit from a recent trade deal? Must be the puppet masters at work. Did a controversial bill get passed? Clearly, the robot president is doing someone's bidding. Of course, this ignores the complexities of governing a nation. Decisions are rarely made in a vacuum. There are countless factors to consider, from economic realities to political pressures. But for those convinced of a grand conspiracy, every decision, every policy, is just another piece of the puzzle. Another clue that points to a hidden hand guiding the president's every move. Section 5. The ghost of elections past, Trump's lingering claims. The 2020 election remains a contentious topic, with former President Donald Trump at the center of the storm. Let's not forget the 2020 election. It was a historic event marked by unprecedented voter turnout and a pandemic that changed the way many Americans cast their ballots. Donald Trump's claims of widespread voter fraud, though thoroughly debunked by multiple sources, continue to fuel distrust in the electoral process. Despite numerous court rulings and investigations that found no evidence of significant fraud, these claims persist. For some, Biden's supposed robotic behavior is just further proof that something fishy is going on. They point to his occasional gaffes and stiff demeanor as signs that he is not in control. They see it as evidence that the election was rigged, that Biden isn't the legitimate president, and that this robot charade is all a cover-up for something far more sinister. The Stop the Steal movement has kept these theories alive, with rallies and protests continuing to this day. It's a dangerous line of thinking, one that undermines democracy and erodes trust in our institutions. The integrity of our electoral system is at stake, and the spread of misinformation only makes it harder to move forward. But for those caught in the web of conspiracy theories, it's all part of a larger narrative, a story of corruption and deceit that goes all the way to the top. Social media platforms have become breeding grounds for these ideas, amplifying voices that question the very foundation of our democracy. Section 6. Age before beauty and maybe before robots. Now let's step back from the rabbit hole for a moment and consider a simpler, more likely explanation. Age. Joe Biden, at 80 years old, is the oldest person to ever serve as President of the United States. Aging, as we all know, can bring about certain changes. Our reflexes slow down, our memories get a little fuzzy, and we might not move as gracefully as we once did. Is it really so far-fetched to think that some of Biden's more awkward moments might simply be attributed to his age? He's a human being after all, not a superhero. Section 7, Occam's razor, and the president, the simplest explanation. Occam's razor is a principle that states, in essence, that the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. When we apply this to the Biden as robot theory, the simplest explanation is that he's just a guy who happens to be president, yes, but a guy nonetheless. He's not a robot, he's not controlled by shadowy figures, and he's not part of some elaborate conspiracy. He's just a man trying to do a difficult job at a challenging time in his life and in our nation's history. Section 8. The danger of disinformation. When theories turn toxic. While conspiracy theories can be entertaining, it's important to remember that they can also be harmful. When we allow ourselves to get swept up in unfounded beliefs, we risk losing sight of reality. The spread of disinformation can have real-world consequences, eroding trust in institutions, fueling political polarization, and even inciting violence. It's crucial to be critical thinkers, to question what we see and hear, and to rely on credible sources of information. Section 9, the final word, Biden, bots and the burden of proof. So is Joe Biden a robot? The evidence, as they say, is inconclusive, or, to put it more bluntly, there is no evidence. The burden of proof lies with those making the claim, and so far they haven't presented a single shred of credible evidence to support their theory.